Okay, maintain radio silence. We're live to Facebook.
Hello?
You.
Oh, finally. I don't know what happened there.
We are live, everybody. Welcome to Awesome Talk Quarantine Edition number 17 on November 6, 2020 from Dumpster Fire Earth. How is everybody this evening?
Woo!
Yeah.
Wait, us or the people out there?
The people out there, not so much them. How about you guys?
Enjoying the dumpster fire.
Enjoying the dumpster fire. Tonight, I want to introduce our special guest. She hasn't been here in like a year. NIkki Nailbomb is on tonight. Thank you very much, NIkki.
Hello. Hey.
Thank you for being part of the show tonight.
Thank you for having me. I'm having a good time.
I'm glad. I see you're in a tent.
Yeah. I'm really glad about that.
This is the first time we've ever had someone talk to us from a tent. In all the years of doing this show. Like, people have called in from weird places, but never a tent.
Never a tent in a house.
Never a tent.
I don't know why I hadn't done this sooner, really. I'm mad at myself.
Once you do it once, it's hard to get rid of it.
Yeah, you guys have a cute story about that.
Well, we set up a campsite in our living room for our anniversary last month. So I made like a fake campfire with lights, and we got like a marshmallow roasting kit.
Oh.
And put like starlights up and firefly lights. It was a pretty good campsite. It kind of blocked my entire computer and desk, but otherwise I'd probably just leave it up forever.
That's the future. That's the future.
I mean, like, going out, there's no ticks. It's way better. Like,
Right.
Yeah. I won't ever go real camping. No fucking way.
I gotta say, I love real camping, but I totally get it.
Yeah. No thank you. Matt Hill is in the chat. Hi, Matt.
Hey, sorry.
I'm trying to make sure everything's working over here, but
Oh, here it is. Here's us.
yeah, we're here. Yeah, just making sure everything's running like it's supposed to.
Where am I gonna put this? Okay.
Okay. We look good. Guys, I feel like every time we do the show, there's always some new, insanely wild, horrific thing going on in the world. Like, how much can you pile on top? How much?
You're echoing a little bit there, bro.
Huh?
You're echoing right now.
Yeah, because Sarah's mic isn't muted.
Here comes the infighting before we even start.
The infighting. Yeah, man.
So I was informed a moment ago that based on some news my boy was watching, that the whole attempt to get a set of lawyers to investigate these states that are Biden winning, they're not prepared to do the investigation. They don't have enough lawyers. That everything that was supposed to be going on isn't going to be able to take place. He's not prepared to do this whole investigation and lawsuit shit he's trying to pull.
Well, he's also got no evidence. So
yeah,
that's got to be making
he's
it
sitting
difficult.
in office.
Well, yeah, sure. So he can just make up whatever shit he wants. I know. What do you guys? I mean, Biden won this thing.
Where do you want to go with this?
Biden won. He won this thing. I don't think there's any way out of that anymore. And like even the stupid Supreme Court justice that they rushed in there is an absolutely pointless thing now. And now we're all just stuck. Because nothing played out. It didn't play out as close as he thought it would. It didn't play out as much of a landslide as I'd hoped it would. But, well, hope is a strong word. I'm not exactly thrilled about Joe Biden either, but I'm certainly more thrilled about that than 4 years
can we
of Trump.
address that? Can we address that right off the bat? That in no reality whatsoever has anybody on this fucking show ever really endorsed that Democratic candidate. You know, it was not like I know that we come out and we talk a lot of shit about Trump because he's a sitting president and all of the dumb shit that goes on, but we've been pretty adamant over the fact that just because we don't like Trump for the most part in terms of what he does, we're not endorsing the Democratic side of the candidacy.
Right. Yeah, right. Which also go ahead.
Sorry. No, he's a centrist. He's not like anything special at all. He's still very conservative comparatively.
Dude,
a Republican in sheep's clothing is really what he is.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I read somewhere where someone had said that they didn't want to vote for him because they wouldn't vote for a radical leftist. And I was like, well, good news. If you vote for Biden, you're not voting for a radical leftist. Sign to the radical left. Like I don't know. There's so many things that have made me lose respect for Trump supporters because they parrot things that are so blatantly untrue and obviously untrue that you have to wonder about their sense of judgment in almost everything. Because to look at me and call Joe Biden a radical leftist is really weird and spacey to me. He's not like Trump called Kamala Harris further to the left, so far to the left that she makes Bernie Sanders look like a conservative.
Right.
And there's nothing to back that up fucking at all. And they just go out there and just parrot it like, oh, the radical left is coming, the radical left. Like, just pointlessly. Like, how? Go ahead.
They're dangerous because they don't care about facts or like they're allowed to make shit up in their little universe.
And they do. I mean, everything that he said, like, because that's the other thing. It's like, I'm not a fucking, I don't think anybody here, like Rob said, has ever endorsed Joe Biden. But I certainly got to a point where I realized that it was either him or 4 more years of this. And I think 4 more years of this puts us in a darker place than just going back to the way it was for 4 years. And oh my God, there's so much I want to say about this right now.
Well, that's why we're here. Go ahead.
What pushed me to Biden officially, because I'd said repeatedly I would never vote for that human being, was one morning I woke up and I looked at my phone and there was a Trump rally going on somewhere, and it was nothing short of a complete and total Nazi rally, where like these guys were like bullying like little like people who were smaller, like big hulking hillbillies were like menacing like people who were smaller than them who were just doing a peaceful protest on the sidewalk. And it was like they came out in droves to bully these people like out of town almost. And it looked almost like it was staged. It was so bad. It was so bad it looked like it couldn't be real. And they were so blatantly and openly and proudly racist that I had to say, like, okay, Biden's a piece of shit, sure, but I think, as somebody put it in one of my comments, the game of politics right now is more about chess than it is checkers, right? So to me, the only way you put a stop to this fire that's burning out of control is to get the fucking match the fuck out of the way. And I think that we did that. But now I think there's got to be a new reality emerging, which is the Democratic Party is not going to be the fucking heroes we want them to be when this is over. And that's important. And I made a post earlier where I said that the most important part of this fucking election are the amount of first off, the amount of diverse candidates that won and the amount of progressives that won out of a certain, it was like 19 out of 22. And to me, that is the future of all of this. Like, it's good that we, like, you know, first off, we didn't stomp out the Nazis. It's not like tomorrow it's just going to get better. But, like, we stopped the fire from burning out of control maybe for a little while. But now it's like, okay, now that we put that out, we have to do the next thing, which is to stop this next, because this isn't really good either.
I think that for the most part, you know, and I've been saying for a couple weeks now, and if there's one positive takeaway from this whole fucking fiasco for the last 4 years is that the Republican Party needs to really deeply reanalyze its fucking self if it wants to ever maintain any sort of progression into the political spectrum at this point, because the Democratic Party seems to be garnering more and more people on its side due to this kind of experiment. But the Democrat on the other side, the Democratic Party, I think at this point needs to realize that the country has allowed them a chance back into the presidency at this point, because they have fucked over their supporters in, you know, obviously to the extreme left, the Bernie supporters that were really kind of rallying around that, and a lot of the age group that got fucked out of that election because of a rigged DNC. And then again, this election cycle where it was almost like laughable how Biden came in as the candidate. So the Democratic Party has lost its luster, if you will, in terms of the voting power that it has. But I think both parties at this time, due to Trump's, you know, obnoxious behavior and his platform from the very beginning, have opened the eyes about people who, you know, really take voting seriously. If you really look at the political, you know, the politics behind these parties and what they stand for, they're flipped on their fucking head right now. They've both lost so much credibility that to sway Democrats to vote Republican ever again is going to be a hard fucking testament. And for Democrats to have their own party taken seriously by the people that want to support it, they have to sell themselves ultimately now. It's rough. It's rough, I think, at this point. Now, moving forward, it's like you said, we're not going to be able to just accept it and think that people are going to just disappear and these problems of the fucking United States are going to disappear. They're only going to get worse, and they're going to get worse and worse through the holiday season into January, when this transition of power needs to take place. If in the event Biden comes out the clear winner here, you know, because I'm watching these results now for the last 2 days, the numbers are going fucking up and down. And while people are already proactively bugging the fuck out, they have no security in what the selection's going to look like. So it's weird. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah, it's weird. I want to take a look at some of the comments here. Hold on, I got to put on my one eyeglass. Let's see here. Yep, hillbillies. Hold on, I got to start over again. Matt Hill's in the chat. What's up? Jared's in the chat. What's going on, man? Let's see. Janine's in the chat. Trump needs to put his big boy pants on and admit defeat. I thought that was funny. The mayor of Philadelphia said that Trump needs to put his big boy pants on. 31 million jobless, but Biden will make more people lose jobs. All right, well, I don't really know about that, but there'll be plenty of jobs from all the COVID deaths. Yeah, sure. That's Biden's fault too, somehow. Yeah, exactly right. Andrew Slinger, hey, what's up, man? Let's see. Andrew says, my pick would have been Andrew Yang or maybe Bernie Sanders. Biden is just the guy everyone knows what to expect from. Bernie Sanders is left, but not bad left. Biden is center right by Canadian standards. Yeah, man, no shit. And that's kind of part of the problem, and part of what I'm saying here is I think in the next 4 years, anybody who identifies as Democrat needs to really do a little bit of soul searching and realize that what a lot of you really are progressives, and that the Democratic Party is not going to live up to what you want them. They're not going to be the heroes that you want, and you have to be careful that you don't lie to yourself and others that they're going to be. Right. They almost never pull through completely on things. It's sort of a half-assed effort every time, and I think that progressives don't take any shit. I think you know, I've seen AOC go after fucking CEOs of pharmaceutical companies, and she fucking just fucking cuts them to pieces. And, you know, whether you like her or don't like her is irrelevant, but there needs to be a stronger ideology that's going up against that corporate money rather than fucking accepting it and using it as part of how they govern.
I love her.
Me too. And I think. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
No,
No. Well, you know, there's two directions you could go in my mind, or sort of both. But so a lot of punks criticize voting and it's dumb, but there are like those who do that are like, I mean, I think I'm part of the group that thinks that group is dumb and privileged and idealistic, but really, the argument to them is like, organize in your spare time and vote. Like, voting doesn't it's not great, and it's not, you don't have that equal of a share of like weight for your vote, but it is like something you could do. But then like organize in your spare time, like to help people, because like some punks will be like, oh, I could do more in my spare time, helping people. But it's just like, yeah, voting's like super easy too, and like you can like Google the fucking people you're voting for. Anyway, I don't know. I just wanted to say that.
Yeah. And by the way, I was going to add that that AOC to me is sort of born out of that Bernie Sanders ideology. I think that Bernie Sanders left something behind in the government that they can't turn off now, which is motivated youth. And you see it all across the country now. Just a lot of young people.
Well, it's also that we're not yet, but we're really close, like another 10 years of time. And the fucking kids who had to sit through school shootings are going to be old enough to run for office. And the kids that are growing up with dirty water and everything else are all going to be old enough to run for office. And like, that's exactly how it should be, because the people that are rich and taking money from pharmaceutical companies, they don't give a shit if you're sick. You have to be sick or else they don't get money.
Yeah, Andrew was just saying in the chat, by the way, he's one of my friends from online, but he says that why don't we just get rid of the electoral college basically and just go by the popular vote, which I've been saying for a long time. Like, this electoral college thing has ruined a lot of elections in the past maybe 12 years. I mean, not 12 years, like 20 years. And it's very strange that we have a popular vote, but it basically means nothing in the end. And we're making all this fuss about it being counted or not, but it's the electoral college that makes the decision. So
it's dumb, and it has like oppressive roots.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I mean, if you look at the history of the Electoral College and where it comes out of, the like you said, the oppressive roots of it are things that are outdated ideologies that don't apply to America anymore. I understand that it's rooted in constitutional aspects, but the purpose of the whole thing, it dates all the way back to fucking three-fifths compromise type shit. It's a matter of kind of controlling what representation looks like, all the way back to the earliest foundations, things that people relied on. Well, yeah, they fucking applied it to 13 fucking colonies, not 50 states. And that's part of the problem of the progressive nature. It's been ignored since then. Because, like you said, with gerrymandering, redlining, all of that shit, it'll benefit certain parties in certain states to be able to do shit like that. And, if you really wanted to treat it like a fair democracy, it's got to be reanalyzed. Biggest fucking democratic country, to have to do this with all these different states and all these different ideologies. If you gave them a fair shake and planned it out on people having to actually show up, and we're gonna have the highest percentage of voters ever this year, and I think it's funny because I see a lot of people posting, well, look, Donald Trump got the most Republican votes since 1960, and you're like, yeah, they both got the most votes possible. Literally, Biden got the most votes anyone's ever gotten ever, because more people showed up than ever before. So if you want to do statistics, yeah, Trump did get the most votes since 60 for the Republicans, but the other guy got the most votes of a president who's ever been elected as the president. So your fucking argument is moot. But still, if the popular vote was in play here, he's ahead by 6 million motherfucking votes, man. Like, that's astronomical.
I was thinking about I checked the census, and when Donald Trump was elected, there was like 3 million less people that were even allowed to vote yet, or something like that. So it's like, yeah, there's the most people that have ever been alive because the population of the world keeps going up.
Is it really that much more than 2016? Because the numbers in 2016 was 138 million. What is it now? 170?
No, what is it?
I'm not sure. What is how many people have voted?
It's probably like 140. It's probably like 10 million more people.
10 million more people.
When?
Like, I feel like for this election. In 2016, 138 million people voted. In this one, it's like 160, 140. And if it's 140, that means only 10 million people more voted. I feel like I felt like it was going to be more than that. Like, people are marveling at how many people voted, and I agree.
They're making it sound like it's a lot more than it is.
Yeah, I feel like that's what, maybe 60% of the country. I don't know. I don't know math.
There's like 400 million people in the country, I think.
A projected 159.8 million Americans voted in the presidential election.
Wow.
Oh wait, maybe this site. I don't know what this site is. Hang on.
You're seeing record numbers. I mean, in Wisconsin alone, where everybody thought this voting fraud thing came up, they had a turnout of like 86%. That's unheard of, man. Like, that's those are all the people for fucking the last 2 election cycles that were sitting at home and then bitching and complaining on the internet. You know, that they actually came and showed the fuck up.
Let me ask you guys something. We all live in New Jersey, right? So we have a certain perspective, but we're also sort of, on similar wavelengths, to say the very least. Do you think that in this election, do you think that there are places where Biden won, or do you think that this is just that Trump lost everywhere? Do you understand what I mean?
You mean, do I think it was similar to how the Democrats gave the election to Trump last election? Like how they fucking blundered it and lost votes? I'll just throw this out there that I do think his adamant demonization of mail-in voting and the Postal Service didn't help his cause, if you want to say that. His voters didn't do their due diligence on that aspect. But do I think it would have taken over? Maybe. I mean, the numbers are pretty fucking close in the swing states, so.
I guess what I mean is do you think that there's a lot of people who do really like Biden, or do you think it's just so many people hate Trump?
Yes, the latter.
Some people like Biden.
Some people
I don't know.
I think a lot of people settled. I think a lot of people settled just for anything to get him out of office.
Yeah. I would say I did.
It's like that old political experiment where they realized that people recognize the last name of the candidate from years before, if there was one. And like, you could run as the same last name, not even be that person, and they'll vote for you thinking you're that person. So it's just basic comfort levels, and nobody wants to do research. Nobody cares.
Well, yeah, as Nikki said before, all you got to do is Google search the fucking candidates and do some research and put like
nobody
maybe 5 minutes of fucking effort into looking up.
Oh my
some
God!
stuff.
Can I just say something? I am so tired of hearing people say to Republicans, "Educate yourself, do the research," because it's the most pointless thing to say to a conservative Republican. Because I guarantee you, they're not going to do the research. They're not interested in what's really going on. Like Democrats are delusional too, but not at the level that I'm seeing conservative Republicans right now. Like, this is like a cult. The behavior is really cult-like.
Yeah, it is.
And it's really strange. Hold on, I want to go to the chat for just a second. Yep, Hillbillies, 31. Okay, hold on, I read all of that. Progressive. Okay, Andrew Slinger said he would have chose Andrew Yang or maybe Bernie Sanders. I mean, most people here wanted Bernie Sanders. Jared said, don't you mean Kamala Harris is the winner? To an extent, I do mean that. I think that President Kamala Harris is going to be a thing. I have no doubt in my mind that that's coming.
Think about this. She'll not only be the first woman vice president of color, as they're saying. Not only that, but if Biden dies and becomes becomes president, she'll be the first woman president and woman president of color. So she'll have like 4 or 5 records right there.
Yeah. And she'll be
crazy.
She'll be one of the most memorable I keep saying, like, I hate optimism.
She's gonna outshine Trump just because of how many records she's gonna break.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not like he broke any good records.
No. I mean, maybe a couple, but not like anything significant, really. Nothing important.
I'm not sure that's what he's going to be remembered for.
Let's see. I haven't heard people say Stacey Abrams should get a cabinet position. I think she should be brought into the DNC. She registered voters and brought... I don't know. I'm not sure who that is. Who's Stacey Abrams? I don't know who that is. Holy shit. What is going on here? Ah, here we go. Let's see. We need to get rid of Citizens United in the Electoral College. Okay, we just talked about
Georgia.
that. The Electoral College. How do you feel about the fact that somewhat close to half of voters voted for Trump? My wife and I wonder what is wrong with humans that so many people can support a politician that talks and tweets the way Trump does, even if he was a good leader, which I doubt. How can so many people, both in the USA, Canada, and around the world, support a person? I think, Pat, is this guy in Canada your friend?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just going to ask the same thing.
What an interesting perspective.
Well, the thing is, I'm sure whatever he's been exposed to talking to people online, but like there's something that people out of the country don't have to like give them a full picture, which is that like your reasoning is fine, but you're leaving out the part that we're not talking about what you're probably comparing it to someone that you meet that has different political opinions than you, and you sort of debate them or whatever. That's not what we're dealing with here. These, like, at this point, most of these people are like cult followers. It's a whole other level. It has surpassed politics in a terrifying way. There's no reasoning with most of these people, and like, so when you're saying like, how can they support this person that, you know, talks the way he does and stuff, he could do anything because it's not politics anymore where you can be like, see, look at this thing, he broke his promise. Like, why do you support this politician? This other politician might, you know, fit your needs better, whatever. It doesn't matter. He could do anything because he's not just a politician anymore. It has surpassed it. It's very worrying because we're in a situation where just because he's not president anymore one day, these people still exist and they seem to do whatever he says. And, you know, like for the people that are counting the ballots and stuff, they were in a lot of danger, and he was just putting them in more danger.
Sarah, have you seen the people outside? Yeah. Have you seen the people outside them? Not the ones that were freaking out with banging on the glass and shit. But have you ever seen the recent videos of them kneeling down and fucking praying and shit?
Yo, did you see the girl against the wall? Like it was the Wailing Wall in Jerusalem. She was like standing there shivering and everything. It's crazy.
I think you touched on it, Sarah, to the point where these people are literally they champion this idea of immorality and unethical fucking behavior. Like they love the nasty shit he says in ways that he is projecting this negative interpretation of immigrants and how people, you know, the idea is nationalism, right? It's kind of really pressured this notion of this is what the America was that I loved in 1955 and I want it back. I want this kind of wholesome thing for white people and everybody else get the fuck out of my way kind of thing. And that's the racist part where it's like people don't even understand that that's racist. And that's the following that he gets is that anybody who thinks differently, anybody who progressively thought for change in the 80s and 90s, they're fucking, you know, they're assholes. They're people that have hurt the traditional system of America. And that notion goes a long way with them, to the point where, as bad as it is, they may actually, if he doesn't get elected, forget Civil War shit and all that kind of shit, treat him as if he's a martyr. You know, if you think that people, the generation just above ours, took Reagan and put him on a pedestal to where like he's an untouchable fucking president, and he was unarguably not a good fucking president. He was a fucking celebrity, and the one thing he did was tell Russia to go fuck themselves. And because he did that publicly, everybody was like fucking cool. They loved him because him and Nancy stood up there like your grandparents and were like, don't do fucking drugs. In the meantime, throwing enormous populations of black people in fucking prison because they were trucking crack cocaine into fucking areas left and right. And
what the most worrying part of the whole martyr thing is he's going to eat it up. And his aides have already come out and said that they're considering running in 2024. And it's the worst thing ever. Like,
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if they pull some Lincoln shit. After Lincoln was assassinated, they had to guard his fucking tomb and hide his shit because people tried to break into his tomb and rob his fucking tomb. I wouldn't be surprised if people visited Trump's tomb after he passes away, whatever year that may be, and they'll put a memorial up for him. That's how fucking insane it is. It's a one-term fucking president who came in and for fucking 65% of the population was a fucking scary laughingstock.
I want to take a look at the chat for just a second here. Let's take a look. Trump lost. Pat just said Biden was a consolation prize. Andrew said, yeah, man, no doubt, dude. Kamala Harris won. Yeah, man, to a degree. Hate Trump. Maybe not hate Trump, but think he is a bad president. Andrew said, well, look, man, no offense. I promise you, if you lived here, you would get to that point. Adrian said, no matter what the outcome, I'm impressed that my 17-year-old son and several of his friends watched the debates and followed everything going on and even stayed up to watch the poll results. There's always a lot to talk about. Getting the younger generation interested in voting. I think the election really pulled that aspect. But so here's the other thing I want to add to that too. It's not only that it's not only getting young people interested in voting, it's getting them interested in giving a shit about what they're voting for, because I think that's really the problem. I think that we, which I'm sure you know already, but I think that it's not just a matter of getting out there and just voting. It's a matter of pushing like fuck to get the right people in the right place too, because we did end up with a big pile of shit and a lesser pile of shit this time. You know, I think progressives absolutely feel that way. So I think it's also a matter of like, look, man, I said earlier that Bernie Sanders ignited something that they can't turn off, and it's the youth. And it's not just the youth vote. It's the amount of young people who are getting involved in politics and pushing a brand new, fresh and agenda out there for people. And I think that is also probably the most important thing for young people, because for the people I know who don't vote or don't believe in it because of the life that they've led up until now, I get it completely. Like, I fucking totally understand why you don't vote. How the fuck can you possibly be presented two piles of shit for this long and not just assume that that's what it's always going to be? But sooner or later, I think there is a generation coming up, man, because Generation Z does not fuck around, dude. Like, out of all the generations we've lived through and seen, they get shit done. Like, they're like on the street. They don't give a fuck, dude. So watching them get more and more involved with politics, I think, is going to be exciting. I'll keep reading. Let's see here. The majority of my friends hate Trump. Yep. Leah wrote, they won't read anything but memes. It has to be easily digestible. Dude, that's another thing that's really interesting to me, man, is how meme culture has really, really shifted the minds of people. How fucking impressive that you can basically just make a baseball card and sway people's fucking opinion and attention in that way. And I feel like that's a huge piece of politics now. I think people underestimate the power of content creators on the internet, dude. Like, they still undervalue it. The idea that someone could sit, like paying somebody a healthy income to just make memes all day for you to win is putting your money in the right place.
Started out, right?
What'd you say?
That's what propaganda was back in the day. It was like an image, a phrase,
Still is.
you know. It's a good formula. It works.
It does work, man, because people like their information bite-sized.
Yeah. It's digestible. It's easy.
Yeah.
And
That Stacey Abrams lady is awesome.
Especially
who is she?
It lasts in your brain a lot longer. Like if you have an emotion attached to it, then it's more memorable.
That's right, man. They're just pouring water on it, letting it grow. Who's Stacey Abrams, Nikki?
So it looks like she everyone is crediting her to building a network of organizations that highlighted voter suppression and inspired an estimated 800,000 new voter registrations. So that's a good way to organize in your spare time.
I was just going to say, you said earlier about your spare time and like 800,000 fucking people. Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a motivated person.
In Georgia. Yeah. So that's cool. She had to do with the flip.
Yep. Dude, let me tell you something. I woke up the other morning and I was like terrified to look at my phone just to see where this was in terms of what was blue and what was red. You know what's so fucking dumb about this is I'm not a Democrat or Republican either, and now I'm so fucking invested in it that like I'm waking up like anticipating what's on my phone. And like the truth is I'm just anticipating Trump being gone. It's not like excitement for the future, but like, so anyway, like when I looked at it and I saw how many states had turned blue, I was in shock at how blue this country fucking looked. Because I'll tell you what, man, here's what it does tell me. It tells me, because like I said, a lot of people I know who identify as Democrat, I think are progressive. And it tells me that there's probably more people with their heart in the right place than I thought. Because I think some people vote Democrat because their heart is in the right place. They just don't really know who they're fucking voting for. Because most Democrats think that the Democratic Party is the party that's going to fight for civil rights and equal rights and all this shit. And they do sort of. It's sort of a back burner issue once they take office. Feel free to disagree with me, but I feel like that's the way it is.
I think that what you're seeing is with the states turning, right, is that when you look at condensed populations, all those Midwestern states, man, there's a large rural population. And when you look at the highly democratic states that switch over, what that means is that those populations, they've grown vastly in their city size over the years, and those cities, because of the population per capita, you know what I mean? Like you're seeing large influx of diverse populations who have learned to tolerate one another, whereas people who are in rural areas, they are all by themselves. I'm talking about areas that, in terms of traveling across the United States, like if you drive through the state of Pennsylvania and you hit Philadelphia, you hit Pittsburgh, there's Harrisburg, and then like every fucking thing else is fireworks factories, farms, and fucking strip clubs where truckers can stop. So it's like hundreds of miles of fucking nowhereville. And those people are voting mainly Republican and conservative because that's the world they grew up in. That's the world that they live in, where those cities tend to be more diverse and progressive, much like if you look at Illinois and you've got Chicago, and those populations outnumber vastly the remainder of the fucking state. If you look at, if you go to the Associated Press's website and you look at the states that are tallying the votes and you click on the fucking states and you look at the strong concentration of blue in those states, everything's a fucking city. Everything is a fucking city. There's not one goddamn rural area there that is blue. Everything's red. Right? And you overlap that with traditional lifestyle and the conditions of people living in those regions, and they feel as though that they have to rely. This dates back to the post-Civil War period, that they've got to rely on that strong, centralized banking, Republican financial aspect of what comes out of Wall Street in New York City and the northern, mentality like that. So they're tied to voting for that. There's also the racist stuff. All that, that's so small. The fact that the media has shown that so much, that's so small. That's a component of Trump in general. But that's part of why you see, as those cities start to develop bigger and bigger and bigger, and the skyscrapers get bigger and larger populations move into those areas, the larger blue population are people that honestly don't give a fuck what you do with your life individually. They're working. They don't care if you marry the same sex. They don't care if you have a fucking abortion. They're used to seeing fucking hundreds of different dialects of people all over the fucking place. And it doesn't scare them. They walk right past them every fucking day.
And you just explained in plain terms why diversity is actually a very good thing no matter where the fuck you go.
Dude, I have said on this show a million fucking times, Mark Twain said it top notch, dude. Mark Twain made it clear that if you travel the world, your whole perspective changes. If you leave your comfort zone for 30 fucking days, you realize so much more about the world that you can't live in a bubble anymore. You can't just sit in an area and go, this is my existence, this is my life, and it's never going to be any fucking different. You realize how different everybody is, and you start to come to terms with the fact that you are not this kind of individual. There's 100 million different people that are just like you and have different walks of life. And once you come to that realization, you may not become a Democrat, but you certainly become a quote-unquote liberal, which is another term that people just associate with Democratic voting. And that's obnoxious because there are tons of Republicans I know that are liberal. They're Republicans because they believe in fiscal responsibility and they don't like the fucking taxes, but they could care less about all this other
So hold on. Let me ask
shit.
you something. Don't you think that then, I'm asking everybody this. I differentiate progressive from Democrat, even though progressive run as Democrats all the time, because I think there needs to be a separation there, because they're both carry a similar ideology, but only one actually follows through with it with fucking guts. I think for Republicans, I know exactly what you're saying because I have people my whole life tell me, I'm a Republican, but not the way they think. I'm just fiscally Republican.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, so maybe you need a new name. Maybe it's not fair. Maybe you didn't ask for this.
Well, I mean, isn't that ultimately,
But to me, when you say Republican, I immediately generate like a personality in everything now, because it's just been drilled into my mind that that's what a fucking Republican is. And when you say to me, I have friends who are basically liberal, but they're fiscally Republican, I feel like, okay, well, we need a fucking different name for that then.
Well, isn't that ultimately the fucking problem? I mean, that's what the issue is with us having independent candidates that can never get anywhere in a fucking election, is that people only see themselves categorized as fucking Democrats and Republicans. We've talked about the spectrum before in terms of political spread, and that middle area is where most people sit. They don't fucking sit on the fringe. I apply politics to how people view religion. It's just because you take 3 or 4 people that you specifically know and tie them into how a whole party fucking thinks, and then generate this whole kind of stereotype of it, when in reality, a bulk of fucking people are smack dab in the middle and could give a shit less about either one of them. They vote because their family voted that way. It's like how families pass down sports teams. It's really fucking obnoxious, and the lack of information that's taught in schools, civic understanding, all of that shit. The issue is we have different terms for those fucking people, and I see that Kira in the chat put in the Libertarian Party. I think the Libertarian Party, honestly, is a fucking cop out for people who just don't know what to fucking say.
I totally fucking agree with you. Sarah says they're punk rock Republicans.
Yeah, and it's like, yeah, you could be that way, and
that's why they call themselves that, because they want to seem that way. Not that I think they are.
Yeah.
To me, they're just the political version of someone that calls themselves an agnostic. It's like you don't want to call yourself religious, so you're going to call yourself this other thing that clearly allows for a God, which is not, it's whatever. The point is, a libertarian to me is just Republican light. It's just younger Republicans.
Ultimately, yeah, that's what I agree with, and it's not the part of it that I think is the obnoxious aspect of it is that we feel in this country that everything needs to be categorized. I mean, it goes through. I mean, you can use any aspect of society that we have to categorize people. What is your take on this? Who gives a flying fuck? What it comes down to is that nobody understands what they really believe in to begin with. They actually, if you asked like 60% of the 70% of the population why they believe what they believe, they're the first people to tell you, let's agree to disagree. Or they'll be like, well, I wouldn't fucking say it to you because we're not going to get anywhere in this conversation. And immediately they just don't want to get in any kind of civic conversation. They don't want to get into a civil conversation. They don't want to explain where they come from because they literally have no critical thinking behind anything that they're fucking deciding. And it's a matter of trying to just piss off other people and believe in something that if you had read a website for 30 fucking seconds, if you had paid attention to anything, you'd have a different perspective on it. And
well, that's what I was saying before about, the thing that most people don't know is the level of cultism going on. So at that part, I think you're actually wrong because if they did read the quote unquote truth, if they did quote unquote research, whatever, exposed to any other type of news, the cult persona, the cult mindset is like, well, that's all wrong. You're being lied to. I know the ultimate truth. Like, it's so far past politics when the truth is irrelevant, completely irrelevant.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
are you making a reference to the current administration?
Yeah. Yes.
I think we should use it against them. Should use their culting. We should use that against them. Like, they like being in cults.
How do we use it against them?
I mean, that's the people that you're seeing that have been dog whistled historically, generationally, they've all been cultish. You know what I mean? Like the people that are nationalists, the people that are Klan members and racist, the people that are xenophobic. That's cult shit. That's lack of understanding of anything. That's unwillingness to fucking take in any kind of understanding of anything. Not even giving the benefit of the doubt. And ultimately, if you are calling them out on it, you're just a liberal, and that's their cop out. They've even categorized the people that are combating their train of thought as.
But more disturbing than that, yeah, they call you out and they call you a liberal. But the problem is now they do that because they think now that what they have is a acceptable and respectable side of the argument. Ignorance has become a side.
Yes.
We can start cults for them to join.
Isn't that deplorable? Didn't they get called out for being deplorable because they were ignorant and they went out and bought fucking T-shirts that said deplorable?
Exactly.
And they were happy to be called deplorable?
But Nikki, I like what you're saying though about starting cults because we could lead them like the Pied Piper over this side of mountains and shit.
I think we should. Sorry, no, you go, Sarah.
This goes right back to what I brought up in the last Awesome Talk. And I'm going to keep bringing it up until it catches on, okay? We don't remove him from the White House. We just allow him to continue on ranting about being king, and we'll just fill the press room with like cardboard press people. He would never notice because he only gives a shit about himself. And then we just build another White House next door where all the normal shit's going on.
Yeah.
It's just like the old age homes that they make look like the 50s for people with dementia. But it's just the White House for Trump to continue believing. Like, he'll just go in front of fake cameras and tweet out to no one. Wow. And, like, dude, it would all work out so peacefully. Then all the cult members could, like, just hang out outside that White House. They wouldn't know the new one was built because all this news is fake news. So, like, it's so perfect, it's almost diabolical.
You can give the followers.
That's like the opposite.
It's almost diabolical. Like Sarah at the end of that was like.
That's like the opposite of the Truman Show.
Wow. I'm gonna go into the chat for a second here. First off, I have another chat going on here, by the way. I want to say hello to Eve and Laura and Jordan and Rose. Rose actually said that Gen Z is punk rock as fuck. I think Trump shot himself in the foot with the condemnation of mail-in voting. Voted for the people Biden will be and will likely be bringing with him and the people around him. Let's hope for the best there, buddy. Let's see. Justin says just about every major city in the country is blue. Just like you were saying, Rob.
Yeah.
It's because cities bring about diversity.
Well, it's kind of like it's kind of my idea of it is that as we progress, as a country, and I know it seems like we've been around for a really long time, but we haven't. I think more as we progress and the more tied into the rest of the world that we get, the idea of conservative republicanism, the way that we know it, is dying out. Like it's a concept that just won't exist in 15, 20 years. There'll be conservatism. There'll be conservatism.
I hope so,
but we are moving.
Nazis, man. They're alive and well and happy about it.
Yeah, but they're not out there in the numbers that people assume that they are. They don't.
It's looking pretty fucking scary out there.
Yeah,
I think. Okay, so the country is built on stolen land. So I mean, no matter what we do, we can't do basic human rights unless we think about that. And those people really benefit from the manifest destiny over, generations and generations. And there's going to be we're going to have to do a cultural shift to shift that kind of stuff. Like we need to pick off our weakest family members and radicalize them.
Well, I think that's part of the issue that you're seeing today from an educational standpoint, that people are always throwing that terminology around about us rewriting history. And the reality is that most people don't have above a 9th or 10th grade understanding of the country they live in or the history of it, that when you start bringing up things that are more relevant today than they were, say, 30 or 40 years ago because of the legislation that's been passed, because of the things that have happened, the realization of that is occurring now, and generations that are, just hitting their 20s now or are in their 30s now. So you're going to see a transition that within the next 30 years, if the educational system continues to grow and we put the right people in office to make those changes where money is actually giving the right resources, and we start, for many years in the educational system, the public educational system is afraid to share a lot of the realities of American history. That's the purpose of education, is to create nationalistic citizens, right? So when you create nationalistic citizens, but at the same time, you leave out the shitty part of the country that you don't want people to question, and you just think about it as the land of the land of the free, the home of the brave, red, white, blue, and fucking awesome.
Other
and you don't go,
sayings.
how did we get here? The things that got us here are highly fucking questionable. And those types of things, if you start to apply them, the educational purpose of going to school, right, is not being used to explain all of the intricacies of the country the way that it's become. And when you look at an entire generation that from 1945 onward, we won a world war and we were fucking heroes. So for 30 fucking years, up until Vietnam, a whole entire generation was fed that idea that we were the fucking strongest fucking people ever and that we had all this great shit to worry about without talking about the history that led up to that. So their understanding of that and how that influences America now, that only happened 150 years ago. The Civil War was 150 years ago.
And by
That's
the way,
three generations.
Dude, right now is what it looks like when an idea mutates for too long. The level of nationalism
gets passed on, right?
Like when people talk about how scary it is that this many people voted for Donald Trump, this is the result of raising generation after generation going, you're the best ever just because you're here. You're the best. You're the best. It is such pollution to fucking do that to people. just in general, it's pollution to do that to people. Like to just have them believe they're just the best because of fucking where they are.
Think about what you're saying, dude. The idea that we have heard for the last, say, I don't know, fucking 5-6 years about millennials getting participation trophies and entire generations doing that's America. Participation trophies is America. Like, that's our identity, is that we're fucking awesome from birth. So everybody gets a fucking trophy. And then we go out in the real world and we realize that the rest of the world looks at us and goes, what the fuck are you so arrogant about? You know, and that's the
fuck
crazy
you,
shit.
man.
Yeah. But
boomers just labeled millennials that because they're just like putting them down for whatever the fuck they can.
But it's not even boomers. It's people my fucking age. These are people
That's
that
also
are
true.
my age
Both
that
are
are
true.
like, this generation is, you know, it's. I know that we've categorized it, Nikki, by like that, you know, the terms, boomer and millennium. We've separated that, but there's people
You're
in
Gen
that.
X.
What's that?
You're Gen X, right?
I am. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that generation.
No, you're not.
Yeah.
You're a millennial.
I'm a millennial.
You're an old millennial.
We're all adult millennials.
You know what I am? I don't know how old everybody is here, but I'm an Xennial. If you're born between 1978 and 1982, you belong to a mid group. And the reason you belong, to put it in the simplest terms, the reason why you belong to that middle group is because you have one foot in the world where the phone was a thing that hung up on the wall in a kitchen, and then you have your other foot in the world where the phone is something that allows you to look at your own asshole. Like, so an Xennial is sort of split, where we're sort of in both worlds at once. What?
Pat got a kick out of that. You got that Pat giggle in the background.
I feel like I stole part of that joke from somebody, but I can't think of who. But when I do, I'm going to credit them.
I think there's a good majority of us people who were born between, you know, the late 70s and the late 80s that defend millennials. I think that we look at each other as one. I don't buy into that whole Gen X, Gen Z bullshit. I think that I think that there's a whole group of people that were a forgotten generation. They were people.
I think the generations should support each other. I was just I don't think categorizing is bad. It's just the technology we grew up around and what was around at the time.
Right. Oh, right. Yeah.
Does anybody feel like that boomers get a little bit of a pass for that? Are you willing to be patient with some boomers who are trying, or is it just like, no, dude, you're racist?
Well, depends on what you mean by trying. What do you mean by trying? Trying to use the internet? Trying to understand the world? Because a majority of them don't try any fucking thing. They think they know everything.
Let me tell you guys a story. Like, my dad passed away in 2012, but I'll never forget him. He went to see Rent on Broadway, and he was so proud of himself that he went to see Rent because of the content involved. And he told me about it, and he was like, I saw Rent, and I actually thought it was great, and it was this, and he was so excited about it, but he was like a typical white guy who was 60 when he fucking died. You know what I mean? But he was trying.
What do you mean in terms of his happiness of seeing something like that? Because it was called Rent and it was talking about poverty, or because it was a Broadway play, or
because it was loaded with gay people and AIDS.
Oh, he's like it was good old boy kind of time.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. It sounds like it was the good old boys club who just kind of like you stepped out of your comfort zone for a second.
No. He was deeper than that. He thought that he really gained something from it. Like he learned something.
He did.
And and he wasn't good at expressing himself and expressing his emotions. Like, I'm the fucking opposite of him in so many different ways. But him making an attempt at his age to do that and understand it, I feel like that did mean something.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, to us, isn't it kind of emotionally heartwarming to see stuff like that? I mean, I had an experience similar to that with my my own stepfather before he passed away. He had come across somebody that was on food stamps, and he had never in his life met somebody on food stamps, to the point where when he met them again, he had a box of canned and boxed goods ready for them to give it to them, because he didn't really he couldn't relate to it, not knowing anybody that was on food stamps, not realizing that there's a lot of fucking people on fucking food stamps. And just because you're on food stamps doesn't mean that you need people to donate food to you, right? It's a level, but his reaction to that was so fucking heartwarming and at the same time so blatantly kind of ignorant because he hadn't really ever investigated that kind of brings you to tears when you're related to somebody like that, because it's like, fuck, you try to understand and
right.
you gave an effort there, and you're
right.
like, hey, for effort, man. But this is shit that like we know as a generation, we've grown up with people like this. We're friends with people like this, and I don't know.
Yeah, no, because like when you have somebody that needs support and they're like alone and there's no representation for them, sometimes bad things can happen to them.
And that's something that some generations just don't understand that. They just don't accept it.
I want to address Adrian's comment in the chat because she did ask, she said
I'm about 70 comments behind, so when you're done with this, I'm going to catch up.
She said that to an extent we all tend to think that we know everything, and I think that to a certain extent, possibly, depending on what your life experiences are. I think that there are a lot less people, I guess, with open minds, in terms of how they view certain things, but I don't technically believe that they believe they know everything. I feel that people are put on the spot when someone disagrees with them. So out of defensive nature, they have to act like they know what they're fucking talking about. I think that if anything, you could try to address that with somebody who acts like that. And that's where you can tell the stance of somebody for real and what they do and do not know, is that there's there is a level of arrogance that we all have. There is a level of, but I think that there's a majority of it comes from people who think that because they're older than certain people, they already know things and could not have experienced 70% of what somebody that's younger than them already has before their age. And we have...
Dude, my dad used to say to me at the same time when I was having trouble, he used to go, well, why don't you just make more money?
Well, that's the thing. Is that for that generation, when we refer to things like boomers and shit like that, you think about it and you say, well, because those opportunities that you had in 1960 are not around anymore.
Or 1985 even.
They haven't been since 1990. Since the Gulf War, we really haven't had the same opportunities. And since the advent of the computer and the changes that took place with the changes in industry, all of those things, that's another thing that we have to look at in terms of educational ideas, right? When we see people in certain job areas that for 3 generations they were able to support a family of 5 off one income, not understand why they've lost their job to things like automation, shows their lack of understanding of technological development. That it's a matter of time before almost every fucking job like that is gone to fucking robots, AI, and shit like that, because it's part of our human progression, and more so in America than or at least in quote unquote the first world or the progressive countries, that automation is the future. It's it's something that we get warned about all the time, but the reality.
I've asked the question on the show a dozen times. Like, as a species, what precisely is it the fuck that we're all working toward here? Because we can't just all keep running the hamster wheel for eternity. Like, progress doesn't allow for that. Like, have we figured out how to get all the shitty jobs done by machines? Well, great. Then we need to rethink what we're doing with our time, maybe.
Well, don't you think that, ultimately the argument by economists and sociologists has been for years that, one, there's no way in a country like America anybody should be jobless or in poverty. So there's one point, right? There's no way that anybody in America should be jobless, homeless, or in poverty with the amount of wealth in this country. But 2, like you just said, if we figured out how to take care of all the remedial jobs, that also means that none of us should have to be working 60 and 70-hour weeks either, that we should be enjoying life as a whole, communally. And that is the downside. It's not a matter of capitalism versus...
Listen, this is the problem with capitalism. We know how to create paradise and don't do it voluntarily.
You can keep capitalism and still have a socialistic kind of life. And people don't even realize that. If you don't want to apply everything to competition, which is tied into capitalism, that's the problem, is that it's competition. It's how much shit do I have that you don't, and fuck you, and you're not taking it away from me. That capitalism can be controlled. It's that it brings out the nastiest in fucking people. And that is the problem. And that's what you see in today's voting population.
Nikki, what were you going to say?
I mean, like, in theory, capitalism could be controlled, but like the reason Donald Trump is such a fucking tyrant is because like he is actually a tyrant. When you're a CEO, it's different than when you're like being a politician. Like you can just like his thing is you're fired. Like he just like gets rid of people like in his kingdom, and like I don't know how to clean that out of capitalism because it's all like done so much damage about like war and resource control and like ruining lives and like ruining the ecosystem and like.
Well, to Nikki's point,
I worry that capitalism is just bad alchemy with the human condition. Like I don't know that human beings can take that and do what's best with it.
Well, the problem, exactly what Nikki just said. How do you go back now? Right? We're so entrenched in it, and people have climbed up that fucking corporate ladder of nonsense that look at the amount of people that you may know. I know personally people that have owned businesses, small businesses that are completely hurt by what capitalism has done to them. And then there's people in the middle of the road who've made a substantial amount of money and they think they've won it, that they've won the capitalism game. And they're not even a fucking fraction of wealthy compared to where the fucking wealthy are. And they treat it like they are holding this massive trophy of I can shit on everybody that I want because they live a life of whatever they can afford because they've got money rolling in left and right. You're still a fucking broke clown like the rest of us. Most of your shit is a life of debt and false wealth. And it's not even in comparison to someone like Donald Trump. It's not even in comparison to Donald Trump's not even wealthy compared to the wealthiest people in the country. Like that's what's absurd about it.
Yeah, it's also absurd because it just goes to show that America is all about image and no substance.
Yeah, keeping up appearances.
Right, because the guy looks rich, but he's not fucking. He's actually in so much debt, it's impossible.
People can flaunt whatever they want, but when you go home to a fucking trash can, dude, it's, it's crazy. It's crazy how we view that shit.
I'm like 85 comments, but the chat room is on fire, so you got to give me a minute to roll through some of these comments here. First off, bless you, Sarah. I'm Canadian and I'm invested in a non-Trump president. I've been losing sleep checking the. Hold on, I'm sorry, guys. I have to look at this a certain way in order to see it. I don't know what's going on here. He's been checking obsessively the news to see how it's going. Hold on. I need to see this better, and it's just not going well. Let's see. You're not wrong, Ricard. Did the same thing. I'm not sure what we were talking about at the time. I'm interested in knowing what your news on this is like. She's talking to Andrew from Canada. There are two types of Dems. There are for the people Democrats, and there are corporate Democrats who are beholden to large companies for their campaign funds. So far, the corporate Dems win the nomination. And that's 100% true. And again, man, that's why I said that we have to make a fucking difference. We have to make a... We have to differentiate between progressives and Democrats. They're two fucking different things, and I think that's what you're talking about. And I think progressives are starting to give themselves a new name, which is progressives over fucking Democrats. Let's see. My news, Canadian news on the USA is mostly either the CBC, where they try to take a moderate stance, or USA News like NBC and Fox, which lean hard left or right. That's upsetting. Wish there was more blue in my state in North Carolina, Pat said. Yeah, I agree with that. So when the Canadian ambassador to the USA was on CBC News, she was very careful to not say anything negative about Trump and instead talk about how she made good political inroads with him and how she would make good inroads with whomever was the new president. He said for the people... Dems equal progressives. Corporate Dems equal Dems. Exactly right. Exactly. For the people, Dems equal progressives. That's exactly right. I have friends in the UK that are asking me about the results daily. I unfortunately have to answer, I don't know. It looks like Biden. The courts are going to get involved soon. We'll keep you posted. Yeah, and that's a fucking problem. Libertarian Party. Yeah, we just talked about the Libertarian. I think that's when that comment was made. I'm trying to read everything. Do you feel that Republicans are fiscally responsible? I think that when you personally, oh man, what a fucking question put in there. I think that when you look at the way Republicans spend, they're so goddamn hell-bent on spending on the military and spending on war that, like, you have to wonder what the fuck it, like, even under Barack Obama, over 93% of your tax money went to fucking war, and it went to the military.
Yeah,
like,
they're extremely liberal when they want stuff.
Completely.
When Democrats want something, they're like, nah, never mind.
George W. Bush, George W. Signed a fucking, he took more money for fucking war in the military than any president in history did. And then Barack Obama basically ran with the ball. And I'm not saying Barack Obama didn't do good things. He did. But this is kind of what I'm talking about when it comes to liberals not being honest about their politicians. The White House didn't even cover this up during Barack Obama, which I sort of appreciated coming from the fucking White House. But like, if you went to the White House page, you could see precisely what percentage of your tax dollars went to what. And it was something like 94% of your tax dollars went to fucking war in the military. And that's like fucking insane. We're talking about $700 billion a year going to your military compared to China, which is number 2 in military spending, which spends something like $90 billion a year. So we are 700% more than them in spending. And I just don't feel like the world in general is clamoring for war that hard. I think the United States is clamoring for colonialism still, personally.
Well, and every year they get rid of more oversight with they don't have to report anything anymore. They don't have to report the M2 or whatever it's called. Nobody knows how much money is in circulation. Like, they got rid of all that years ago. Now they don't have to report. It's just like, Trump just got rid of a bunch of oversight on a lot of things that were kind of important, you know? And like, why, they don't want us to know anything.
It's a fucking nightmare, dude.
Why would they?
What'd you say? I'm sorry?
Why would they? If they wanted to help people, they would have a long time ago.
And that's,
how about this? How come at no point in time during a Republican presidency have we had any reports on war? Why is no one reporting on any of the statistics that are going on in these countries? We haven't heard a fucking thing in 4 years about anything going on in any of these countries where our military is.
Right.
Nothing. Literally nothing.
No more oversight. They don't have to report it.
But that's shit that, even as Rick just said, literally the administration before him blatantly reported on all of the fucked up shit Obama did, specifically in his second term. You know, that's something that, for the first term, all the glitz and glamour of having a black president was overshadowing everything. You didn't fucking pay attention to nothing. And then the progressive nature of the Democrats at that time to push the healthcare plan and all that shit, that came to fruition, and people turned a blind eye to all the other shit. For people who are paying attention to politics, they realized that, you know, it was just another par for the course fucking politician. And that was part of the problem with Obama for people who understand politics. So everybody thinks that was the savior for Democrats for 8 fucking years. And in reality, yeah, he was cool for 3.5 of them. And then the other fucking 4.5 were very hard to fucking sit through.
Dude,
but they knew the alternative.
The amount of civilians he fucking drone bombed is fucking horrific, dude. It was like for every fucking 125 civilians he drone bombed, he theoretically killed a terrorist.
I encourage people to look up the same statistics that happened under the Obama administration and under the Bush administration, and compare it to what you haven't heard about what's gone on for the last 4 years. Because if you look it up, there are statistics. There are things that happened under this administration that have not been talked about by any media fucking source, with the exception of BBC Network. And if you look into this, which is fairly blatant information, it's fucking terrible, and no one's fucking talking about it.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. I'm gonna roll through some more of the comments here. Adrian said, "Watch it, your grumpy old man is coming out." I'm not sure what that was in relation to.
He's talking to me.
Talking to you, you grumpy old fuck. Let's see here. Andrew Slinger said, liberal but leaning toward fiscally conservative platform is probably the most reasonable. It may or may not be. I feel like so much of this shit is made up. Ron Perry said, I don't hold in anything. I'm not sure what he's talking about, but I'm glad to see him there.
You are like way behind.
I'm way behind. way behind.
We have to start getting. We got to get a chat room moderator in this.
Dude,
fucking shit now.
when you have a night like this where so many people have so much to say, I absolutely love it, man. And I just trying to keep up with it is a challenge sometimes because we also have a lot of really smart and opinionated people in this fucking show. So, read a website from a valid source. Reading Facebook memes doesn't help much. Not usually it doesn't, but sometimes memes strike a specific chord. I have to say, once in a while, a meme will say something in a way that nothing else can fucking say it. Like it's pretty interesting. Kira said you were trying to define a liberal but fiscal conservative. That is the libertarian motto. Man, libertarians. Let's see. Oh my God, there's so much stuff here, dude. That will confuse members of the public. Justin said, what's up, Justin? Welcome to the New Republic Lemming Cult. Please get this line for orientation. Let's see. I completely support this idea, Sarah. Kira said, even if there are... Oh, she's talking
about the new White House.
She's talking about the senile old man talking to fucking cardboard cutouts.
Right.
I can't get over that, Sarah. I fucking can't get over that.
Dude, it is such a winning idea.
Trevor Noah had something. Keith, was it Trevor Noah or was it fucking who said something about letting Trump stay in the White House and let him just keep doing what he's doing, but don't let him know he lost? It was either Stephen Colbert or Trevor Noah, and they had said something about don't tell him the results. Just let him keep doing what he's fucking doing, and we'll build another White House for Biden somewhere, and he can do it. It's fucking insane.
Let's see. Andrew Slinger said Republican votes seem to mostly be, 1, people that got tricked into voting for them, 2, the mega rich that don't want to pay their fair taxes and their hundreds of millions, and 3, single issue voters that hear the Republicans will get rid of abortions and gay marriage and shit like. Dude, I honestly believe. So can you mute me? I honestly believe that a lot of what you said is right, and I think a lot of Republicans do vote that way. I think they pick an issue that's against their religion or some shit like that, and then they run with it because they think that's the most important thing. I think that happens all the time.
Listen, none of that, right? Roe versus Wade is not getting fucking overturned. Okay, that's not getting overturned. Just like your guns are not getting taken away from you. Like, these things are cemented now in our culture to where as much as you want a politician to fucking do shit like that, or you think a politician is going to infringe on that shit, it's not gonna fucking happen, dude. It's just not. And this proactive shit, right? I posted on Facebook the other day, the last time we had a civil war, it was a bunch of overreactive, proactive motherfuckers who freaked out about something that didn't happen. You're watching it every fucking day. We saw it when Obama was the president. You're seeing it when Trump is the fucking president. People bug out about shit, and you're like, if people just fucking relaxed, now that all these states have legalized marijuana, smoke some weed, dude. Like, just fucking chill out for a second.
Chill the fuck out.
Jesus fucking Christ, man. It's obnoxious. It's obnoxious. I want to shout out real quick to Diane Soboleski, who's in here. That's one of my best friend's mothers, and I'm so happy that she's in here even paying attention to this shit. And Marianne DeAngelis, who my best friend of fucking 35 years, came into this fucking thing, and I don't know whether or not she's happy or not because I don't know where she's at on the political spectrum. So I'm sorry, Mayor. I apologize. I hope Glenn's doing okay. I just wanted to give a shout out to the two of them because I'm surprised that they even broke into this shit to look at this stuff. So I love you guys. Thanks for being moms to me as I grew up.
I love them too. Thank you so much for being here. And the other thing I want to say too, man, to that point is like you're right, man. Like a lot of people who are on one side or the other just believe a whole list of bullshit or don't. They pay attention to things that aren't real. You know the amount of people I know who identify themselves as Democrats who I know who are fucking armed? It's probably most of them. And what I hear from Republicans is all the time is they want to take our guns away. They're coming for our guns. I'm like, who? The liberals I know who are fucking armed with guns? What the fuck are you talking about? And then I kind of realized that most of those Democrats I know that are armed are actually progressives and not Democrats. But
I own guns, dude.
Surprisingly,
I'm a gun
there was
owner.
a lot of gun legislation passed under Trump, and nobody even knew about it because they think he's a gun guy, so they didn't even pay attention to it.
Look, man, Trump proved one thing that's extremely important. Everything is about image, not reality.
Yeah, pretty much.
He is the image of the guy who is pro-gun. But you're right, man. He passed more gun laws than under Barack Obama, man.
Pat, you know as well as anybody fucking else, dude. That man has made a career.
I'm sorry, I'll be right back, guys. Keep going.
Yeah, that guy's made a career as a fucking actor. He's a fucking actor, dude. So It doesn't matter what you think he stands for, because he's been a card-carrying Democrat almost his entire life. He's literally supported, New York politics and the Democratic Party through donations for his whole entire rich-ass life. So for him to join the Republican Party, it's an act. It's a fucking act. And then everything after that was just a personality trait that he didn't like being called out for it afterwards. His fucking hatred of Hillary Clinton, he fucking loved Hillary Clinton up until the fucking election. So it's not like this is just, most of this shit is fucking smoke and mirrors to begin with.
Yeah, but who's paying him to act, though?
Who's paying? Lobbyists, obviously. You know what I mean? Lobbyists. And his own private investments, which people still deny is happening, which is blatantly obvious as well. He's got international investments out the fucking ass.
Yep.
And no one cares. That's the thing, is that no one cares. And that shows the ignorant or the intelligence level of most of the people that support
It's
that
just
candidate.
bias. I mean, if Obama had the same things, they would fucking care.
But Sarah, do you think that the people that are 100% Biden fucking supporters, do you think that they're going to get what they think they're going to get out of their fucking candidate when he comes into office?
Well, actually, if we're talking about like people that are legitimately voting for Biden because they actually love Biden,
Yeah.
the people that I see that are actually Biden supporters, most of them say the country just needs a boring white guy because that's what normal feels like. So yeah, I actually think that's exactly what the fuck
up.
you're gonna get.
Pat,
That
Most
is really
people told
fucked up.
that before, and it pissed us off because we're like, no, what the country's now is someone needs now is someone that's gonna fucking do something for people, not someone that's just Mr. Status Quo. I mean, Biden himself said nothing is really gonna change. Like, you know, I think legit Biden supporters are going to get exactly what they think they're going to get. Biden.
You know what I think is funny about the anger and frustration towards Biden is that Biden actually represents a majority of the motherfucking presidents that everybody's been in love with for the last 50 years. He's that old uncle that other than being called Uncle Joe, he's the guy that is the president that's got a nickname. They fucking, he has this idea of a strong sense of family, and he cares. He does creepy shit like your old grandfather or uncle fucking like all of that shit revolves around people who loved George Bush, that loved Jimmy Carter, that loved John F. Kennedy, that affiliation with being a strong, humble family. I saw somebody post the other day on Facebook the fact that during Trump's presidency, right, there's no dog in the White House, there's no like family gatherings, there's no pictures on the beach or on boats and like doing family kind of traditional Americana shit. And yet, at the end of the day, people support that shit like crazy. And I think that's kind of telling, about the shift that's happening.
But it's also a lot of nostalgia bullshit, too. It's the same fucking way where, like, we're dealing with coronavirus, but people have to have Halloween parties.
No. What I mean is by the people that support him, they're not getting that from him. And a lot of them are elder people who are used to that in a president. Not people that are, there's a chunk of people that were anti-establishment that voted for him because he thought they thought he was going to come in with a fucking sledgehammer and break down the fucking traditional system, which he fucking Biden did not. He almost turned over immediately 6 months in. But there are older people that revered that about a president. And they're
dude, haven't you caught any of those people? Haven't you seen any of those people yet that have tried to turn them into that? It's hilarious. Like, there's a picture of Melania Trump, and in the comments you'll see most beautiful American first lady of all time, and like all these crazy things, and it's like, what do you and then like someone will inevitably post a picture of her posing nude. And like, yeah, super. And they'll be like, classiest first lady ever. She has so much class. Look at what she's wearing. And like, they're like trying to mold it into.
And then there's a picture of her with like gold chain link around her tits, and like, like what the hell is happening here? You're in like the 1990s when she was basically a model looking at, you know, in centerfold pieces, and you're like, yeah, this is exactly what I thought the model woman would look like as president.
It's, dude, did you see that thing? There was footage that came out from one of their stupid rallies, and Don Jr. was talking, and he like went to give the microphone back to his dad, and he like went to like put his hand on Donald Trump's shoulder in a way that you would do if you were like going to sort of hug with one arm. And
or
Donald
if you loved
Trump,
your kid.
and Donald Trump like grabs the microphone and like lifts his arm up to like block the hug. It's so fucking uncomfortable, dude.
I don't know. I don't. You know, listen, I don't mean to be odd about this, but isn't there something to be said about the fact that when people make claims about her being the greatest first lady and all of this stuff simply because they support her husband as a president, isn't there something strange, a little eerie about it when the first lady who represents America goes up to speak on a microphone and the tone of her voice sounds ethnically Russian? When like the talking happens, and you're kind of like, I'm open to it. I don't have a problem with people from other countries being married to the president and all that stuff. But if you made such a big deal about Barack Obama having to show his birth certificate, you know, why are you comfortable with somebody who for an entire generation comes from an area of the world where we kind of look, you know,
it becomes another obvious sort of hypocriticism.
Hypocrisy. The irony of it is obnoxious, man.
The other thing about the people that say shit like, "Oh, look at her. That's what a first lady should look like." That they're saying that because that's just racist code language because they didn't like Michelle Obama.
They're the same people that posted memes of Michelle Obama being compared to men and fucking apes.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah, it's the same fucking people.
I don't have
what a fucking first lady should look like. They're talking about her skin color, not her titties.
Right.
I mean, yeah, and like Trump did the whole weird fucking Miss America thing, but like Melania looks great. Hey, like she's Russian, that's awesome. Like I don't even want to go there. Like I mean she's there's other things to talk about that she like cyberbullying is her thing. Like what are the steps that she has to talk about cyberbullying? How does she tackle that, or is it just bad?
It's just a slogan. There's nothing attached to it.
I mean, her husband's one of the biggest cyberbullies you could ever meet.
Right.
They're not allowed to do anything. They're just figureheads. That's all. They're not like they're like poster child.
In a way, I kind of feel like that's sort of true, but I also feel
Michelle did a bunch of shit.
What'd you say?
Yeah, Michelle did do a bunch of shit. I mean, and listen, it doesn't have to be good stuff. Hillary Clinton was given the task of healthcare, and she fucked it up so bad they took it away from her. So it doesn't necessarily have to be good stuff, but they do get stuff to do.
They can do stuff, right? Exactly, Sarah.
Michelle Obama changed like school children's ability to get healthy food, and I was like a huge supporter of that.
Yeah, and Melania wore that jacket. What did the jacket say?
Didn't it say like "I don't care" or something like that?
I don't care. Do you? Yeah. Is that what it was?
I don't come on. I mean, it was something just as obnoxious.
Kira posted that Biden's given a speech now that basically states that he won, and that we need to be a little bit more patient.
We don't have a ref.
The ones with the patience problems. It's the people with the fucking tiki torches.
Yeah. We need a rest.
Can we revisit that for a moment? How fucking hysterical is it that people went to Home Depot and Lowe's and bought fucking tiki torches?
Dude, I was imagining something completely different. I was imagining them all like, strewn about the barbecue in the yard, and they just are like, "Hurr!" and just pull it out of the ground, and then just start grunting and shit.
Look, man, they're lazy racists. I mean, any self-respecting racist would make their own torch. They wouldn't buy it at Home fucking Depot.
I mean, how easy is it to make a fucking torch? You went and bought a fucking tiki with the little cap so you could put it out later and hold on to it for later on. Like, if you wanted to go back in your backyard and light it up and have a cigar outside, you can do that after you go to your racist rally where you burn crosses and shit.
And it's got that yellow oil in it that fends off mosquitoes.
You like write your fucking name on it just in case somebody fucking finds it after you drop it when you get hit by a fucking Mustang driving through a fucking crowd.
This is
funny
part
Cletus's
they probably
torch.
Tried to make their own torches at first, and then realized that it was harder than they thought it was. And that's why they got them.
I wonder how my granddaddy did this. I can't even figure this shit out.
They just wrapped some cloth around the stick, and they're like, "How come it doesn't stay lit? I don't get it."
They're all like arguing over who has the long lighter.
Who has the fucking grill lighter? Like,
yeah. They don't want to singe their knuckle hair.
Which is obviously very long knuckle hair because it's Neanderthalic.
Okay.
All right, listen, I'm gonna read some more comments here. Let's see here. Let's roll here. Let's see. Mike Pepe said, "Back-to-back World War champs." Yeah, I guess so. Let's see. Sean Rowe. Hey, what's up, Sean? Good old American exceptionalism. Yes. Justin.
Is that Sean Levy?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Justin said exennial. Yes. Let's see. I don't know. I'm not sure what that was. Let's see.
Justin just put in the chat, but tiki torches come with those convenient wooden stakes for the dem vampires. Oh, the lichens. The fucking lichens that come out after the sun goes down.
Let's see. Adrian wrote, Marchie, we all think we know everything to some extent, don't we? I'm sorry. I'm so far, but I'm just going to go right to the newest one. Kira wrote, Biden is giving us... Okay, I saw that. Let's see. Ron Perry wrote, less than 60 for me is a part-time week. Less than 60 hours for me is a part-time week. Yeah, I guess that's when we were talking about how many hours it takes to fucking actually sustain life now for some fucking reason. We were talking about controlled capitalism before, and it made me think of years ago I heard Jesse Ventura float the idea of a wage maximum. He goes, we talk about wage minimums all the time, but what about a wage maximum? Like, what if, all you're allowed to have at once is $100 million? He goes, how would any human need more than $100 million on any given day for fucking anything?
So how's that going to help the little guy, though?
I don't know. It keeps people from hoarding.
You would have to raise the rate to help the surplus income would be redistributed to the worker.
They're just going to take that money and use it on the military. That's all they're going to do. They're just going to tax it from them and then use it. They're not going to give it to anybody.
Distribution.
Yeah,
it's
but
unfair.
That's socialism. They're not going to allow that.
Can we appreciate the fact that Pat is sitting in front of a fireplace with a cigarette in his hand, and it looks like we just came. It looks like we just came back to not Mystery Science Theater 3000, but the predecessor
Mystery
to that.
Science Theater 1000.
Yeah, 1950s. Like he's about to do the introduction to a fucking Hitchcock film as he's critiquing it 10 years after Hitchcock died. He's like, and now
60 million people voted.
Recently, I just want to let you guys know you look like a traditional 1960s newscaster right now. Like we're gonna float down Pat, what do you have to say? Well, in my professional opinion,
motherfuckers used to have cognac in their office.
The only thing he's missing is Christmas stockings on the fucking.
I'll have to get that for December.
That's fucking awesome, dude. That is fucking awesome. The way you were sitting, the way you had your cigarette and everything, and you were like, "That's fucking socialism, bitch. We can't."
I didn't mean it like that. I'm just saying that's what they're gonna say. They're not gonna allow it.
He was like, "That's fucking socialism," and I'll tell you what, that shit'll never fly, baby.
It flies all the time with like stuff like snow plowing and fire.
yeah. If people realized how much of our country is socialistic, they would
I know.
use their fucking minds.
I think it's a great idea, but I don't think they're going to allow it. It's all about the illusion, you know.
It's all about image.
If people educated Americans on how much involved they are in socialism without even understanding it, it would literally, they would fucking crack, dude. They would have a fucking mental breakdown if you were like, hey, you understand that like everything post 55 years old is socialistic, right? Like you understand that when you're not completely paying into a system for nothing.
Dude, I was going to ask you that. Like historically speaking, the United States did have a lot of socialism in it up until about 1950. True or false?
I think America had a lot of socialism in it after 1950. I think that there's a lot. What's that? White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows has coronavirus. Oh, Mark Meadows, the Chief of Staff of the White House, has coronavirus.
Guys, listen, man. I gotta say something.
What do you even want to say? I hope that motherfucker's in a tent too. Because Nikki's doing the right thing over here, but Mark Meadows is probably just out there coughing in everyone's mouths.
Mark Meadows, I mean, you have to you got to kind of fear for everybody that's been in a fucking press conference in the last fucking 6 days then, huh?
Dude, I fear for them always. Just for in general.
Nikki hasn't even been tested yet. She's proactively quarantining.
Exactly.
Right.
And also, I wanted to do this a long time. But about socialists, so like there is ways. You got to turn the American people, and you have to turn the people close to you. And there's ways and things to join up with. Like there's probably democratic socialists that like have a thing in everyone's area. I definitely know of a few, and can probably link anyone who wants any of that information, but like they have information.
Nikki, don't you think it's hard? Don't you think it's really important to inform people on what democratic socialism is versus socialism?
Because socialism we know of, or the American public knows of, I should say, thinks of it as from dictators like Venezuela and North Korea or whatever, stuff like that.
Right.
Germany, even, who knows?
Because they're not taking that word democratic and putting it out there and understanding that changes the dynamic of everything being applied to that term.
Yeah. It's not about that. It's about like getting the information, understanding it, and like I said before, picking off your weakest family member and educating them a little bit. We all have power.
Nikki, can I say something about that though? Sometimes in terms of I don't know how to put it, but in terms of picking off the weakest family member, it's usually the most stubbornest of the motherfuckers too. Like they're kind of strong in their
You don't gotta tell me. I know that.
I know it too, and it's a nightmare to fucking deal with because you don't want to write family off. You just don't want to. Like there was a time where when I was growing up, and we were learning about the Civil War. The thing that stood out to me most about that was people would talk about how a brother would kill another brother over a political ideology. And I didn't understand how that was possible because I could never imagine hurting my sister in that way. But now, after going through 4 years of Trump, I go, oh.
I want to kill my sister.
I love that. That's where that took us into a very deep and dark place. And the minute Nikki was like, you got to pick off the weakest, Pat and I both went, oh, because I pictured cornering one of my relatives into a corner and beating the living shit out of them.
That's what I was thinking, like murdering them.
And they're like, please stop. And I'm like, I'm turning you. It's gonna be okay. You're gonna understand.
This is because I love you.
I've got to save you, slamming him against the fucking wall and shit, hitting him over the head with a bottle of wine at Thanksgiving, like.
They only understand those types of power dynamics. They don't care about logic. Sometimes that.
Oh, so your point is that only through violence is that we get to turn them.
Definitely sometimes.
Definitely sometimes.
Hey, if that's what they respect, then fine. We can go there.
Nothing else.
So you just like have an arm wrestling contest, and the winner has to be a liberal asshole, and so does the loser.
Yeah, you and your fucking agenda came into this dinner tonight trying to fucking sway everybody.
See, like everyone's gonna be pushing for these Thanksgiving dinner super spreaders, but like. No one's sitting around thinking, man, it's going to be super nice to have a holiday where I'm not arguing with Uncle Fuckface about, wanting to suck Trump's old balls. Like, there's upsides.
I mean, you could even make the argument that the dinner itself is socialist.
Yeah. Definitely.
You're not cooking, you're not doing any of the work, but you're eating it.
Yeah, well, that's how the natives felt.
Everybody has to help in some way. That's how that's supposed to work.
Supposed to.
Yeah, I've thought a lot about personal responsibility from individual citizens lately. And it fucks me up because I also feel like people have the right to completely distance and disassociate and disconnect if they want to, too. So it's like, it puts me in a weird position where I kind of believe in both. But I find myself in that position a lot. Where I believe in two opposing views in a sort of simultaneous way. It's weird.
Yeah, there's definitely a duality. You can't just believe one thing though. No, but nobody's one side or the other.
Well, it's like music, man. I don't understand people who listen to one kind of music either.
Yeah.
Life isn't like that. Life is a whole different library of music.
It's a highway, if you will.
We're gonna ride it. We're gonna ride it. How does it?
All night long.
All night long.
All night long.
Yep.
I've actually had to switch to scotch at this point because I walked away to go get another drink and I heard in my headphones Trump's old balls out of Sarah. All I heard was sucking Trump's old balls out of the headphones, and I'm like, you know what? It's time to switch to scotch because I don't know where we're going in this conversation, but holy fucking Christ.
So, Nikki. Thank you so much for being here tonight.
No problem.
Are you gonna perform tonight? Are you gonna do some music tonight?
Sure. Yeah.
Live from the tent?
Yes. And I'm wondering, is this microphone gonna work?
I'm not sure.
Are you playing any instrument, or are you gonna? What are you doing?
So last time I was on the show, I played a guitar and sang.
Yes.
So I was thinking about doing a little weird, little noise thing. I don't know how it's gonna pick up the bleep bloops on the thing, so I might just try. Is that cool if I do something experimental?
Hell yeah,
Nick,
cool.
Nick, I think if you just move the mic a little bit away from your mouth,
I agree.
You'd be all right. It'll pick up everything kind of perfectly if you just swing the mic out from your mouth just a little bit.
Yep, I think so.
Okay, I guess we'll just have to try it then. See how that goes.
So, Nikki, is there anything?
It's honestly just a pleasure to have you doing it. It's fucking great to have somebody performing.
I know. I'm so happy you're here.
I know. Thank you, Nikki, so much for being here.
And I really hope that you're okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah. I mean, so far so good.
Can you talk about that? Why you're in a tent? I didn't want to bring it up, but because I didn't know if it was disrespectful.
Okay. I'm telling everybody. I think everybody should tell everybody if they have a scare. I don't give a fuck. So I was around people who went to this Halloween party and weren't wearing masks. And I love them and they're my friends, but they fucked up so bad. And it fucked up a lot of things for me. So, you know, that's fucked up. Don't fucking do that. Learn from my friends' mistakes. And don't fucking, because now I had to cancel all this shit. And I'm annoyed. Anyway, so I was around them because somebody broke up with somebody else because someone was being an asshole, and she didn't want to be home alone when he got his stuff, so we went over there, and I don't know, that might be it's just like we weren't going to all hang out. It was kind of like an emergency sort of situation, so it's just like that's where probably if I got it, I got it. And then so yesterday I had like a 99.4 fever, like just a light fever, and then it went down to like 98.6 and then 98.1, and then today I'm like 97, sorry, 0.6, and I'm just like, oh, I hope it doesn't keep going down, but I feel all right. So I'm just staying in my tent so Drew doesn't get sick. He's playing a video game right now. Yeah, it's stupid. I'm wearing a fucking mask in my room, in the bathroom, I'm not chilling in the common area. Yeah, so I was like, you know what, fuck it. I'm going to put a tent up because that sounds fun and it'll be like a big mask. So that's what happened.
Well, I'm glad to see you're doing something. You know what I mean? A lot of people do nothing or they wait. And like, I know people, I don't want to blow up their spot, but I know people who are in trouble because they weren't told certain things in a certain amount of time. And that's fucked up. And we all hope that you're okay.
Thanks. No, I feel great personally. I was about to go see, yesterday was my dad's birthday. I was going to go see my dad. Happy birthday, Dad. Yeah, like, it's like, all right, I'm glad I fucking know now because, like, what if it waited one more second and I went and go visited my dad? Like, I will wear a mask or whatever, but just like, nah, like, I can't do anything.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you so much for being here tonight, Nikki. So you're
yeah.
Justin said America needs more people like Nikki. See?
Oh, that's so nice. I think we should give America back. And we don't have to call it that anymore. It's just, let's all just, give it back.
Just live on Earth.
Yeah. I've been watching a lot of TikTok videos on foraging. I love TikTok.
Did you follow me on TikTok yet?
No.
You got to follow me. Punk Rock Professor Rick. Punk Rock Professor Rick. Please follow me.
Oh, fuck yeah, I will.
I do 1 minute English lessons.
Really?
Yeah, fuck yeah, dude.
All right. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah,
Sarah,
dude.
do you have a TikTok?
No, I do not have a TikTok. Maybe one day I will.
I'm having fun. My TikTok is very, very gay. It's really good.
What are you going to play for us tonight?
I think I'm going to play like the synthesizer. You want me to just go right into it?
Yeah, just go right into it. Actually, before you go into it, do you have anything that you want to promote? Anything you want to put out there?
Tomorrow I'm doing a COVID test, and then right after that, possibly during it, I am playing a live show, I think at like 3:15 Eastern Standard Time. Based out of UK, but it's also based out of the Hope Orphanage in Sierra Leone, and it's like a fundraiser to get them money and take care of them because they got a lot of shit going on, and they're awesome and they perform, and it's this really cool event. And then I'm putting out some like music. I'm like writing some like metal, and then I'm gonna put that out, and then I don't know, check out the latest album that my band, we're on a hiatus, but, or we're over. I don't even know, but check out the last Molly Rhythm album. It's got a lot to do with environmental justice and like, people dynamics. Yeah, follow me on TikTok, Blorchestra.
Fuck yeah. So you're gonna perform.
Yeah, I am. So I guess let me just like get this ready and ask you a question. So what's the time? We're going till 11:30 kind of deal?
No, you can go as long as you want. If you want to do 2 songs, 3 songs, 5 songs, 10 songs, I don't give a shit. But I do think Rob is right. I think if you pull your microphone away from your mouth a little bit, I think that will definitely help pick up the sound.
Okay, so
can we do a quick test?
Yeah, give me one.
Everybody on Awesome Talk, do me a favor and mute your mics. Because when Nikki's done, we're going to come back to say goodnight.
Is my mic still on or no?
Yes, I can hear you. Rob.
Did you have to say my name out like
I did, yes.
Oh, okay.
Oh man, I can't wait to not be your colleague.
You love me so deeply.
You're invited over to my house any day to discuss politics.
Just click the microphone under the Skype window.
Pat, shut up. I'll be honest with you, Pat. I honestly miss our little stupid side conversations in quiet next to the bar while everybody else is discussing.
Yeah, you guys think it's quiet.
I know, man. I miss my side conversations with Pat too. We talk about how one day he's going to have a Safari channel.
For the record, I don't miss fucking Stones.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, you absolutely do.
I actually miss Stones more than I miss any fucking thing in my entire life. That's not real either. I'm lying.
Yeah.
How's it going, Nikki?
Hang on, sorry.
No problem. We're good.
Can we? Is there Pat? Say one thing so you can pop up in the speaking screen.
What? Why? What? What happened?
If I could get that as a fucking portrait to put in my house, I would fucking pay good money for that. Just a picture of you, the way you got the cigarette like this. Like what? What do you want to see? What is it you're looking at?
I love this show more than I love anything.
I wish that you had just that on, and on the bottom you had like a blouse with your legs crossed, and you're like, "Are you ready?"
Yo, that's crazy.
What the fuck are you looking at?
He's wearing like pleather boots.
It's like Lethal Weapon. I mean, not Lethal Weapon. What's the one with
Basic Instinct where he uncrosses his legs?
Yeah. But what is it? It's not Lethal. It's not Lethal Weapon. It's
National Lampoon's Loaded Weapon 1.
Loaded Weapon. It's not National Lampoon.
National Lampoon's Loaded Weapon 1, starring Emilio Estevez and Kathy Ireland and Samuel L. Jackson.
What?
I know my comedy.
You rattle off the cast and everything?
That's correct.
All right.
Wow.
I know my comedy.
Just wow.
Bruce Willis is in it too.
I thought that was the one that had. No, I thought it was the other one. I thought it was Naked Gun.
It might be Naked Gun. Naked Gun did that shit too. Yeah.
Pat, don't listen to him. It's not
Naked Gun had O.J. Simpson in it.
It's Loaded Weapon 1 is Naked Gun, isn't
it?
No.
Loaded Weapon 1 is a National Lampoon's production. I will bet my fucking life on it, Rob Marchi.
What's that equate to? What's that equate to on the stock market?
I don't know, $6 or $7.
Not even bringing in our salaries. That's fucking hysterical.
Oh man, my salary puts me in debt.
No, wait, wasn't that called Hot
Shots? My salary cost me $25,000 a year.
Hot Shots was one of those movies too, man. Hot Shots and Hot Shots Part 2.
Part 2. That's the one with the backflip off the fucking springboard.
And he's like a chicken as a machine gun or something.
From the chick who was also in Pee Wee Herman's Big Top Adventure.
I believe was that Renata?
I don't know where fucking Renata. Wait, where are you going with this?
Nikki, I'm sorry. We're just doing some back and forth while you're getting ready. How's it going?
This is just improv comedy.
Okay, we're good. We're good. Yeah.
Yeah, no, keep doing that. I don't know why I'm wondering if this cord went bad.
Take your time. Listen, if there's anything that I understand, if you're being in a band for 15 years and running this show for 7 years, it's that when you need shit to work, it will absolutely not work the minute you fucking need it to.
Nick, please tell me.
Doing this.
If you have an audio interface, you might be able to plug the microphone and the synthesizer into it, and then do
Nikki,
input.
what are the odds that in the middle of this? What are the odds that in the middle of this is all an act, and all of a sudden a trombone and a trumpet player come jumping into the fucking tent with you, dude? Because I would pay good money to have the rest of your band just roll up in the middle.
Dude, no, the camera zooms out really far, and she's like in this big, wide open space, and there's like 10 6 feet apart from each other, and they all have music inside them.
Or like they pop up.
For my band. I need to find another daisy chain. I'll be right back.
It's like the Stephen Colbert show where each member of the band is fucking separated all over the place, and it's like. By
the way, if you want to see a brilliant piece of TV, watch his latest shit where he's wearing all black and he's talking about Trump. It's fucking brilliant.
He is a fucking genius.
He is a genius, man, because you went from a fake fictional personality to his real self and successfully transferred over.
Yeah,
that's fucking nuts, dude.
Speaking of the tent thing, did you guys see the concert that was done in like a bunch of bubbles? Like everybody had their own giant.
I did see that. That was
that?
pretty fucking cool.
That was weird.
Do you think that they had any sort of air conditioning type units?
God, Pat, the more I look at you, the more I want you in my house all the time. Just
Dude, this is really corny.
No, I feel like he's an oracle. Like I feel like he's, like in the Matrix when they go to visit the oracle and she's just sitting at the kitchen table lit with a cigarette. Like if I need to know shit, I could just go to Pat's house and he never leaves that room. And you're like,
I'm always there.
Great oracle, I have a question. And he takes the cigarette he has and lights another cigarette and puts it back in his fucking. It just chain smokes answers out like the Cheshire
He
cat.
teaches us all how to bend spoons with our minds.
There is no spoon.
There you go.
Where's the spoon? Aha.
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 Taste the soup. What's wrong with the soup?
Where's the spoon? Aha. They should change the sign outside to the 3 putzes.
Yeah, that was a great movie. I still can't believe they made a restaurant in Queens named McDowell's. I want to go there.
Did they make it forever? Because I feel like that wasn't that like a publicity thing?
I don't know. I know it wasn't affiliated to McDonald's at all.
No, I don't mean a McDonald's publicity thing. I mean a Coming to America publicity thing.
Oh, I think it was for the second one that was supposed to be being produced and all of that shit.
Is it
maybe.
still?
It's still in the making?
I mean, there's
so.
a pandemic going on. I don't know what they're doing.
Really long time in the making.
I'll take a moment to say this. Nikki, our bands played together at that coffee shop out in PA. What's the name of that place? Nick?
I don't think she has her headphones on yet.
All right, we're in.
Nick, what was that? What's that organic coffee shop that our bands played out in Pennsylvania?
Me?
Yeah, what's that organic fucking coffee shop? Is it Flat Earth Coffee or
Flat Earth Coffee?
I can't remember the name of the place.
I wonder what kind of crowd that
It's
Lord
fucking
was.
dope. It's the organic place that does CBD tea and fucking coffee and
Coffee or kombucha?
they do kombucha too. It's everything, and they have usually they have vendors come in, breweries and vegan.
Noble Earth.
Noble Earth. That's what it is. Flat Earth, Noble Earth. Same thing.
Yeah.
That was the first time.
One's less noble than the other.
My band played with her band at that place, and that was the first time I saw Nikki's band, and it fucking blew my goddamn mind, dude. You guys are like some of the most talented fucking people I've ever seen, and I just wanted to thank you for contributing to the musical world the way that you guys have, because that's like not a common sound that people have these days. And I grew up a huge fan of Methyscopheles, and you guys have this like totally rad punk ska and yet just melodic fucking tone. Because the two of you going back and forth singing is just the harmony is incredible, but your sound section is just fucking. Your rhythm section's fucking dope. Your horn section's fucking dope. Like, just badass.
Thanks. It's changing. But I do a lot of projects now with a lot of different people, and what I'm doing tonight is 100% not that at all. Yeah, I'm really into like making music of all genres because I love all genres, and yeah, I don't know.
Do you think you're ready to go right now?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Can you see me?
Where can people find you online before you start?
Oh God, yeah. So NIkki Nailbomb music on Instagram. NIkki Nailbomb and the Amorphous Blob Orchestra on Facebook, Instagram, Molly Rhythm, partyshow.bandcamp.com is all like the archives. What else am I doing? Oh yeah, there's a NIkki Nailbomb album on Spotify. Follow me on YouTube, even though there's not that much stuff on there. Yeah, I don't know. What I'm doing right now is my project called Uranium Party. So that's what this is. This weird thing I do.
Dope. NIkki, I want to say one more time, thank you so much for being here tonight. And anybody who's watching tonight, anybody who shared tonight, anybody who commented tonight, thank you so much. We're going to come back to say goodnight when NIkki is done. NIkki, how many songs did you do tonight? How many songs are you going to do tonight?
So this doesn't really work necessarily that way. I kind of want, like, I just need a time frame because I'll just watch the clock. This is kind of like a meditative trance thing. I kind of want you guys to like see what I'm doing while I'm doing it. Shit. Yeah, there's something wrong with my one pedal, but as long as I don't move it, I should be okay. It's this is the thing I want to show you.
Okay.
Son of a bitch! How do I do this? Okay.
Back the camera.
All right, maybe. Yeah. Okay. Maybe like that.
All right, everybody. NIkki Nailbomb, folks.
Can't really see this. Okay.
Everybody else in the show, mute your mics.
All right. Ah, you want to be a fucking bitch right now. All right. We're getting there. We're getting there. guys hear that? Is that hearable?
Yep. It's good.
Okay.
Yep. You're good. You're
Everything
good.
came through actually pretty good.
All right. that was fun.
Nikki, thank you so much for being
Thank
here
you.
tonight and being with us tonight.
I was blessed.
Is there any message you want to close with this evening?
Yeah, I guess get involved with good stuff in your area and unite against the government.
Well, you are awesome, and thank you so much for being here tonight.
Not Trump stuff. Not Trump stuff.
Not
Wait. Let me do it again.
Okay.
Fuck Donald Trump. Common enemy. I don't want to get existential. Fuck Donald Trump.
Exactly.
You might be the last guest that we ever have without knowing for sure that he's gone.
That's
you might
true.
be the last Trump president guest we have.
What an honor.
Before we start thinking about, what slightly less you get what I'm saying.
Yeah. Real quick, nothing happened, right? We would have got an update.
Not that we
the
know
only
of.
thing I saw was that Biden gave a speech that said the same thing he said last time, and I think Trump is just, continuing to be psychotic. So
Yeah.
same old, same old.
That makes a lot of sense.
Nikki, thank you so much for being our guest tonight. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. This was great.
And we really can't wait for the day that this shit comes to an end and you can literally actually physically be here in the studio again. I mean it, man. It's going to be fucking amazing. So thank you.
I had the best time. I had the best time with you guys.
I'm glad. Thank you so much. And thank you for performing tonight and everything. We really appreciate it. And thank you everybody who watched tonight and shared tonight and commented tonight. I did the best I could to read all the comments. There were so many tonight. And just thank you everybody so much. And again, like the page and love the page and share the page and go like NIkki Nailbomb and the Amorpheus
That's good. Morpheus orgasm.
Amorpheus Orchestra.
Amorphous.
And again, thank you so much. I know Rob, his fucking phone died and shit like that. And so it's been a good night. And again, thank you. Sorry. And thank you so much. And we will be back in 2 weeks. Nikki, have a good night. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye, guys. Bye,
Take care.
Sarah. Bye.
Bye.